Something big is happening in the world of global energy, and it's all about a brand new agreement between India and the United States. We're going to break down what this deal is, why it's such a big deal, and what it means for millions of people.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. India's own Union Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, Hardeep Singh Puri, called it a historic first. When you hear that, you know this is about a lot more than just fuel.
So what's the bottom line? For the very first time, India's public oil companies have locked in a formal, structured contract to buy liquefied petroleum gas, you know it as LPG, directly from the US. This isn't just a one-time thing, it's a real partnership.
All right, to really get a sense of just how big this is, we got to look at the numbers. Let's dive into the core details.
The total amount is pretty staggering, 2.2 million tons. And that MTPA you see, it just stands for million tons per annum. It's basically a technical way of saying a massive, massive amount of energy is going to be flowing every single year.
Now, to put that 2.2 million tons into perspective, that's nearly 10% of all the LPG India imports in an entire year. So in one single move, about a tenth of the country's supply is now coming from a brand new, reliable source. Now, this isn't kicking off tomorrow. The agreement is specifically for the contract year 2026. That gives both sides plenty of time to get ready for this new energy corridor to open up. So how did they decide on the price? Well, the deal is benchmarked to something called Mount Belvieu. You can kind of think of it like a stock exchange, but for energy products in the U.S. Gulf Coast. It's the standard reference point, which ensures the pricing is clear and transparent for everyone. So, let's just recap that real quick. We're talking 2.2 million tons per year, starting in 2026, making up about 10% of India's imports, and it's all coming from the U.S. Gulf Coast. Simple as that.
But you know, this deal is about so much more than just the numbers on a spreadsheet. It's a huge strategic play for India's entire energy future. The goals here are crystal clear. For India, it's all about boosting its energy security by diversifying where its LPG comes from. You don't want all your eggs in one basket, right? This helps ensure a more reliable and affordable supply. And for the U.S., it's a golden opportunity, opening a direct channel to one of the biggest and fastest-growing energy markets on the planet.
And a deal this big doesn't just happen overnight. It was the result of some really focused discussions between major U.S. producers and a dedicated team from India's top public oil companies. We're talking Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum, and Hindustan Petroleum.
Okay, so we've talked strategy and we've talked numbers, but let's bring this down from the geopolitical stage right into the kitchen. How does a deal like this actually impact everyday citizens across India?
A huge piece of the motivation here is social welfare. The government is focused on making sure there's a stable supply of affordable and clean cooking fuel. And this is especially critical for the beneficiaries of the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, that huge government program designed to get LPG connections to women in low-income households. And you can see just how important that is. Last year, global LPG prices surged. They went up over 60%. The actual cost of a cylinder shot past 1,100 rupees. But for those Ujjwala families, they were still paying just 500 to 550 rupees. This new U.S. deal is a strategic move to help keep that fuel affordable. Now, to make that price difference possible, the Indian government had to absorb a truly staggering cost, over 40,000 crore rupees in just the last year. That's the amount they spent to shield families from the shock of those rising global energy prices. So, when you put all the pieces together, you realize this new arrangement isn't just a trade deal. It's a really fundamental step towards stabilizing energy supplies, managing costs, and making sure millions of homes have access to clean cooking fuel as the nation grows.
This deal really is a historic first and a major pivot. So, the real question is, with this new U.S. partnership now in the books, how is India's energy map going to change next?